Hello everybody and welcome out to the Pod of War Gamescast. I am your host EOF Gizmo, joined today by Xbox Live CW Lanky.
Hello.
And Stadia and Lunar Zone, the Massive Das, he/him.
Hi everyone.
Okay. How is everyone doing?
Good.
So
I'm recovered.
He's
I'm
back. The Rona couldn't get him.
No. I'm too strong, baby.
Is that 6 months with a PS4? That's what got him. I've also got my mic back, so it's now I'm going to be loud, clear, but also I'm going to have to hold it to my face. So that's
You're like
exciting.
a football commentator.
We go live. Well, mate, there is a future in that for me, I think. So before we get into the main topic of the show, let's talk about what we've been doing, what we've been playing. So I have one pickup that I can't reach, but it's another PlayStation controller, so that's good. That's all you need to know.
Which PlayStation? 3, 4, 5?
Oh, 5.
Two.
Chris. Why PS5. I've got a PS5. I've got a second PS5 controller for co-op opportunities.
Which colour is it?
It is black because that was the cheapest.
Okay.
I wanted the blue one, but I'm not paying an extra £10 for blue. Okay, you know. As for what I've been playing, Chris, I've only been playing Wreckfest on the PS5 because it was a plus game at some point. So I've just been casually playing. You know me, I like a racing game to just plod through. So Wreckfest is this year's Dirt 5. It's okay. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Well.
I played it a lot when it was on Game Pass, and I enjoyed it a lot.
It's just a dopey fun game. Like
I can see Grid Legends being this year's Dirt 5 when it eventually goes to EA Play, and then it's in turn on Game Pass / PlayStation if you got EA Play.
Maybe. I mean, I prefer Rally. It's like if they're and like dirt races. So maybe Dirt 6. That's what we need. Anyway, that's me. That's all I've been doing. Pengy, what about you?
Since last time of the podcast, I got to my level 100 on the Battle Pass of Halo. Craig was there at the time, and I've got
I witnessed it all.
Oh hell yeah!
I played 80 hours and 40 minutes of Halo Infinite, and so that is that.
Impressive.
It's a solid effort.
I think it 264 games or something got me to the level 100 Battle Pass. And the thing is, I have not played Halo Infinite since getting level 100, though. There's been a new event and stuff like that, which you could get the elimination achievement finally with that if you wanted to. But yeah. Maybe like Season 2 will bring some new maps or something. And then I've been dabbling with some Game Pass stuff, but not really played much of them. Like I downloaded and started Record of Lotus War Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth, which is a Metroidvania.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was looking I couldn't remember what I've been playing, so I went on to achievements and see what I've been playing.
Is that the worst name a game or any multimedia has ever had, ever?
Because Record of War is the series, and there's other games, anime, books, etc. And then obviously they've put the subtitle. Because you do play as Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. It does...
I thought I was having a stroke when I was reading that. I was just confused, lost. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, it's got quite a nice pixel art and that. I got up to the first spots and that. But then obviously more Game Pass games came out, which I downloaded like all the new ones. Played a little bit of Nobody Saves the World. Did the first dungeon on that. That seems like that could be a good game as well from Drinkbox. Also started Paparazzi, which is imagine Pokemon Snap, but instead of taking pictures of Pokemon, you're now taking pictures of dogs, etc.
Craig's
and you can walk around and everything in this. You're not on rails like Pokemon Snap. So
hell yeah!
Did that get an 80 on OpenCritic as well then? Because
no, I think it's down like in the 70s or something like that.
It's a joke.
How?
People hate dogs.
And you get like objectives like take a picture of a dog surfboarding, and there you go. Obviously take a picture of a dog surfboarding. Start that, and then the biggest sort of Game Pass release of like the past week was Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction, which is great that it's on Game Pass because it feels like a free-to-play game. If you pay £35 for this on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, or whatever, I think
Stadia.
Or Stadia, but you have got Uplay Plus available on Stadia. Get around that. it does feel very free to play. So I think being on Game Pass is a good thing, because every operator has got their own like level. So it's not like if you play the normal Siege, you level up your profile. No, every character's got their own level. If they get injured in a mission, they're injured in the next mission. If they die in that mission, you can't play as them again. You have to go back and get them. There's different like studies they're called, and different things you can level up, and that everything like there's lots of different leveling up mechanics, not just one. And even if you go into like the stores, so like if you wanted to buy costumes or skins, there's like 3 different currencies. You can buy regular cash and then 2 different currencies. Now it does feel very free to play. You would hop on for like a sort of thing. So yeah, it's good it's in Game Pass. And then the big one, and why I forgot most of these, is Shin Megami Tensei 5. I am now 23 hours into the game. I am nearly finished. Which no one thought I would play it, and here we are, nearly done. It'll be the next game I finish.
Congrats.
I mean, is the best part of the game that you've just nearly finished and you don't have to play it anymore, or what's...
No, it is pretty good, like the combat, characters, the demons, etc. And the story's getting quite good now, but it's getting like quite good near the end of the game, the story and that. And it's missing the stuff that makes... Because obviously I played like Persona first, not Shin Megami Tensei 5. The stuff that like makes Persona so good, like all the social stuff and that, it like scraps all that. So it's basically only the dungeons in a Persona game, sort of thing. So that does get a little bit tedious, and a lot of them do look the same, but the story is ramping up a bit now. So
hell yeah. So I guess that takes us to the biggest of dogs. The Lang. So what have you been doing with your COVID-riddled body, Craig?
Yeah, so obviously I was off, stuck inside for a good 10 days, so I played quite a bit. So I managed to get quite a few completions as well for some of the new stuff on Game Pass. I played Lake, which is a game that I'm pretty sure Chris played. I don't know if you got the completion as well.
I did get the 1,000. One of the achievements is really rare for ages, so I think I was like the second person to get it on True Achievements.
Yeah, there are a couple of missable achievements in the actual game, so it's worth, if you want the completion, just checking what those are so you know what to do. I mean, it's ridiculously easy to get. It's just if you miss them, you'd have to go through and start again. There is a delivery postman walking simulator for Dave, and if that sounds mundane to you, Dave, you are right. It's obviously this is a story-based game, and virtually nothing happens in the story. It is so slow. Even the how fast you walk on this game is unbelievably slow. There's a button to like speed you up, and it makes virtually no difference. Not a lot happens. The characters in the game are just dull, and the voice acting is so wooden, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's about 6 hours long. It felt a lot longer than that. It's definitely one that I would only recommend playing if you have Game Pass and you want a completion, basically. I mean, it's quite chill. You can just put it on and listen to a podcast if you can't be asked to play anything that you have to properly concentrate on. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend it. And I've just had a look, and I think it's £16 to buy. I wouldn't spend £16 on this game at all. This is a game.
So you're telling me you're not going to get the limited edition physical version when that comes out?
Absolutely not. It is. Yeah. I mean, it's very janky as well, I will say. It feels like it could have...
I played it, I got a review copy and the footage on the channel. I really liked the game, but the longer you played it, it seemed to get more and more janky. I played it for 2 hours and the game's having a fit or something.
So I think they've patched just the general errors and bugs out of it, because I didn't have that. But it just feels like it could have done with more time. Like even stuff like... So, Dave, you have a van because you're a post worker.
Okay.
But even like if you get out your van and go to get back in again, like there's no animation to get back in the van. It's just like a hard like cut to you being in the van and stuff like that. It feels like a few more months maybe could have been invested into this game to give it a bit more polish or something.
Good old indies.
Yeah. Second completion I got was The Pedestrian, which again was added to Game Pass fairly recently. I believe this was originally a PC game that then came to some consoles and now has just come to Xbox. And when it's come to Xbox, it's come straight to Game Pass. It's a 2D puzzle game. It gets quite difficult especially if you're not using like a guide. If you're just trying to do it on your own. The puzzles as well, they start out quite good, but it kind of runs out of ideas. I found like it gets to the point where you're like, oh, I kind of want it to do something different now, and it kind of doesn't. It just kind of gets harder and harder. I did most of it on my own. I did get a couple of places where I just got completely stuck and was just hitting a brick wall, so I just looked at a few hints to try to keep me going. But I said it is a fairly easy completion. There's no missable achievements. You literally if you just complete the game, you get every achievement. Because you could just use a guide and get it in like an hour and a half if you really wanted to do that. But no, I'd say it's worth like at least trying to do it on your own because it is quite fun. But again, I don't know how much it is to buy. I'm gonna have a quick look a minute.
I think it was like 20 quid.
It's got a bizarre price of $16.74. Again, I wouldn't.
$20 converted to pounds. That's what that is.
Yeah. It's one again that I would say Game Pass or nothing. I don't know if unless you are a hardcore puzzle guy, but it's not the longest. Even for me, like I'm not particularly good at these. I get stuck quite a lot, and I feel like I was like it took me quite a while, and I still think it was like 4.5 hours. So that might be a bit steep. So that was another completion. Next completion I got was, I think you said it's Gorogoa. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you played this, Chris. This seems like a very much a Penguins game.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
It was very when it came. I think it was when it was originally like a mobile game, and then it got ported to Switch, and it got really, really good reviews. And like everyone was talking about it in like the Nintendo community. Oh, you need to play this game. It's just been ported. Blah blah blah. I believe I actually played it on Switch as well, and I didn't think it was very good at all. I was thinking, what's everyone on about here?
So I'm going to disagree with you here, Chris. So this is like a puzzle, like a slide puzzle sort of game, I guess would be the easiest way to kind of summarize it. It's a little bit more kind of complicated than that, but I found the puzzles were actually quite satisfying to do and quite intuitive. And even though a couple of parts where I got quite stuck, when I eventually figured it out, you kind of get that satisfaction of actually, I've got that, as opposed to it just kind of feeling like a game. Not particularly long. I think it took me a couple of hours.
2 hours long?
Yeah, a couple of hours, I'd say.
Just like I said, it's originally a mobile game, so like the puzzle sliding with the touchscreen. Again, I think that's why when it first came to Switch, like, oh yeah, my Switch has a touchscreen. That's
and it's a fairly easy completion, but there's like a speed run achievement, for example, where you've got to beat it in under half an hour or like under a certain amount of moves. I think it's 500, which I did use a guide for. So like it's a fairly easy completion, but it's one that you have to like probably play through like at least twice to get. But it's not that long, so it's quite a fun little game. And then the only other game I played was one that was going to be on my list for the topic of the show, but obviously we had to delay the episode because I was ill, and then I was bored because I've been at home for so long. So I've actually plowed 30 hours into Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now my voice is going. Really fun game, really enjoying it so far. Even the combat, even though it's turn-based, it's just I don't necessarily enjoy. I actually have been enjoying the combat because it doesn't feel that turn-based. It feels quite fluid. Yeah, it feels quite quick and snappy.
It's modern turn-based. It's not like Final Fantasy VII, for example.
Definitely. Even like little things like the fact that all the characters like move around and walk around as you're fighting makes it feel more kind of actual real time than it is. To the point, actually, I think I prefer this combat to the traditional Yakuza combat, which is really weird. So I don't think that'd be the case at all.
It's kind of Ni no Kuni in that way, right? But a bit more turn-based. But like you still, where you're stood matters. And obviously, have you got to the bit with all the crazy summons yet? Have you started getting those?
There is. You mean like I can't remember what it's called, like the play dates or something like that, where you can summon people in.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Like some of them are just hilarious. But
yeah, and a lot of the
probably
side
about
quests
10%
are hilarious.
into that game. So
yeah, I know. Like I said, this was going to be. I thought this would be quite a brave one to put on my list, but I just put so many hours in now. I can't put it on my list with 30 hours, and that's just silly. Even though that's, like I said, it's going to be probably another 30 hours. Yeah.
If you get into those mini quests, I think that one's got a like business mini quest that I know.
Yes.
A lot of, like, I remember Ray, obviously, who we watched, that was like 25 hours just for that. So
yeah.
There's
also
such a
kart racing one, which is really good, which I've tried not to touch too much because I know that's just going to like sink time into that.
It's the new Gwent.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, playing that at the moment. I'm sure whenever we do the next podcast, I'll still be playing that for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm like onto chapter 10 now.
That's quite far if you do it by chapters, isn't it? Like 14. Like, imagine like chapter 13 be like 7 hours long or something.
Yeah, I think Judgment was like 15 or 16, so I'm probably like over halfway through. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that, and we'll carry on plowing through that game.
Nice.
Nice.
So before we get into the topic, obviously there's been a big Xbox bit of news. We're going to save that because I think next week we might do a very Xbox episode. So we'll save that big news for that. And before we get into the backlog game...
Right, Xbox episode, it would like, what's Pengals be playing? Pokemon and in Chai.
Pengals won't be on the episode. So you've completely thrown me now. So before we talk about our 5 backlog games, which is obviously something we did last year in a bit sort of beta state. We all failed apart from Craig. We're doing it properly this year. I did task the boys with, was there any gaming goals for this year? So I've got one gaming goal. So I'm going to talk about it now. And that is to drastically cut my physical game collection down to about 25% of what it is now by the end of the year, because I just don't need it anymore and I could use the money elsewhere. So I've begun doing that. Music Magpie is my friend at the moment. That
website still exists.
A lot more money than I thought I was going to get for the Xbox One games I put on it. Like a lot more, but we'll talk about it there. So Craig's just been talking. So Pengy, any gaming goals for the year? They can be anything.
Nothing I can really think
so
of.
So complete more games, get a certain amount of platinums. I gave you a couple of days to think about this.
Yeah, I guess, but then I'm thinking how much PlayStation am I going to play this year to get those platinums. I don't expect to play many, dirt platinums or anything this year, and so can't see that. Maybe hit 200,000 gamer score or something, which I'm only on 187,000 or something like that, so that would be pretty easy. Maybe something like that.
Okay, well, I tried. Craig?
I think an obvious one for me, I've got those 3 completions, like I said last week, pushing up to 42 on true achievement. So getting to 50 would be quite a cool little milestone, I think. Okay. And obviously trying to do that without resorting to any scumbaggery tactics, let's just say. But other than that, it'd be it's probably the same as last year, just a lot of Game Pass and a lot of trying to play games that I wouldn't have necessarily have played before Game Pass was a thing. Like last year I played Nier Automata, which I never would have played because it was on Game Pass. I'm playing Yakuza this year. I'm sure there'd be other games like that I've tried this year that I definitely wouldn't have bought beforehand.
You are the big weep.
Yeah, I think Jesse said Scarlet Nexus went to Game Pass. She played. I can see Tales of Arise going on to Game Pass, and I can see you now playing that because you've played Scarlet Nexus, etc.
Even things like Hitman 3, for example, I never would have played that, but I'm very tempted to give that a download now that it's on there.
Yeah, as we'll talk about next week.
That's the thing. Like they had quite a lot of new stuff this past week for Game Pass. Like I said, I downloaded them I'll play 10 minutes for this, 10 minutes of that. That's where I am. Yeah.
Well, I'll see you with next week's chat. There's so many games you like. Craig won't buy a game this year unless he really wants to. So let's get to the topic of the show. Tots. So we'll be tasked each other with 5 backlog games that we want to complete by the end of the year. So we're having a little challenge with this. So there will be forfeits. We're not doing time. We're not doing speed. So it doesn't matter if you do it first, you do it last. As long as you do it, you will not receive a forfeit. So we'll have to think of a suitable forfeit for each of us, which we'll probably do off screen, or we'll announce it soon in the time. I suspect for people like me and Chris, will be playing a game we don't like. So it could be Chris finally playing Shenmue 3, or me being forced to stream Resident Evil, or something like. Craig's more difficult. I'll be honest. Yeah. It's very difficult with forfeits, but we'll figure something out for him. Don't you worry. So, the format we
play the worst game of the year or something.
We'll figure something out for Craig. Don't you worry. We'll make him buy. We'll have to buy a PlayStation or something. Because Craig will. Craig will do all 5 games.
Run down last year's as well.
I mean, if you've got it, Craig, go ahead.
I've got it
because it's embarrassing.
So, I mean, stop me if I'm wrong, because obviously I don't know exactly what everyone's played. But this is just from what I gathered. So, in last place was Davey Dave. It was a difficult. He set himself a real challenge here with his 5 games. But Persona 5 Royal, Final Fantasy 15, Gravity Rush 2, the Kingdom Hearts collection, not just like a Kingdom Hearts game. No, he wanted all of them.
My balls are massive. Right.
And I believe it was originally Paper Mario, but it was swapped out to The Witcher 3. So that was I
achieved fuck all, I think.
Yeah, that was a donut for Dave, but we go again next year.
We go again.
Yeah.
Penguins, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but for you, with Hyrule Warriors, Nier Automata, Super Mario Galaxy, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then the one you did achieve was Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, just the one for me.
Just the one. And I will point out that
get second place, so
just the one so far is the only Western games that anyone picked so far. So that says a lot, and I'm sure that would be a big change on this year's lists. And then me, I missed Thronebreaker and Gears Tactics. That was 2 lists there. But I did Resident Evil 7, Jedi Fallen Order, and the Witcher 3 Blood and Wine DLC. So that was last year's results.
Okay, so that was before forfeits, thankfully. This year we will do it. So the only rules I've enforced is you can't have really played too much of it already and longer than 6 hours. Obviously, this is all for Chris, because Chris likes to find the quickest way to get around it all as he can.
Because much like Craig, with putting Yakuza, originally I was going to have Shin Megami Tensei 5 on this list, but because I played so much of it, it's I can't really have it on here now. And I can't really go, I'll put Pokemon Legends on here, because that would be rich.
Put Atelier Ryza 2, put Bravely Default 2, there's plenty of choices.
Pokemon Legends is supposed to be 40 hours, apparently, so...
But
it's not even out yet.
A backlog game. It's a front log game, if anything. So let's get this on. So I think we're going to do all 5 each instead of going around, because I think it's easier for Craig to write down. So let's start. Yeah, sure. We'll start with me, because I've got to hold the microphone. So it'd be nice if I could put the microphone down. So I've gone less ballsy than last year, but I've still gone pretty ballsy. Okay, because I don't give a fuck. So let's go with the first game, Guardians of the Galaxy, by Crystal Dynamics, right? No, Eidos Montreal. So it's a Western game. I've literally not played this. It's installed. I got it for Christmas, so that's one.
It's a really good. I think you'll enjoy that a lot as well, Dave. It seems like quite a Dave game. It's really fun.
I think it's quite the most likely to get done.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, the most likely. Next on the list is Ghost of Tsushima, which is a game I've played about 3 hours of. I enjoyed the 3 hours, but it was at the time when my PS4 was incredibly loud and I just didn't want to play on it. I just haven't got around to playing on my PS5. I will probably play the DLC on it as well, but I'm not including that in the challenge, but I probably will. I own it, so I probably will play that as well. Ghost of Tsushima. See, I hope you're learning, Pengy. Some proper games in here. The next one on the list, Borderlands 3. Game I've had in the collection for a while. Have literally made a character in it on the PS4 version. I will play the PS5 version because you get that for free. I've been playing
It's disappointing you playing it on PlayStation. Otherwise, we could have played crossplay. Because I have it on Stadia, and I expect Craig could easily find it on Xbox.
Yeah, this is the issue with the PlayStation. But there we go. This is what I've got it on, so this is what I'm going to play it on. Been wanting to play this for a while. I've been playing that weird side game that I've nearly finished. I'm enjoying that, so I was like, why not? let's stick Borderlands on there. Again, these are not
I
short
was going
games.
to say, I've seen you picked up Wonderlands on Fantasy Critic.
I have, yeah, because you've taken every other game, Chris. So I thought I'd get some in there.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the last physical game that I've got on me is Cyberpunk 2077. This one, again, I've had for a while. I've not played it. It's installed. I'm at the point now where there's not enough patches coming out for me to wait for it. Everyone that's played it, that's spoken to me, likes it. So it's one of those, like, I'm probably going to enjoy it more than I think. But that's on
If you leave it for last or something, by the time you get to it, maybe.
Maybe 2023 by the time the big patch comes out. I was really tempted to include that on mine as well, but I'm determined that I'm not playing that game until the big patch comes out.
Or it comes to Game Pass. That's the two, isn't it? So, but I've got it, so like, why not? Let's play it. And my final game is a game from last year's list. Okay, because I feel like I need to have one absolute bullshit shoot myself in the face choice, and I have decided to do Final Fantasy 15.
Oh God.
Which I have on PlayStation unplayed because I played it on Xbox when it first came out. I no longer have an Xbox with a disc tray. So that is one of the games that Music Magpie is having. So Final Fantasy 15, which I have via PS Plus, is the big one on the list.
You got the Royal Edition as well.
I have everything.
The Plus collection.
Yeah, I have everything. So I'm going to play Final Fantasy 15. I was really enjoying that game. And then you told me about a bad chapter. I waited for it to get patched. By the time it got patched, I never got to it. So, but
it's chapter 13, ironically, that was bad.
Yeah. Obviously that's long been patched now. Again, people that I know that have liked it, that played it, liked it. It's a bit more Western for a Final Fantasy game than their usual fare. So it's open world, but it's one of those games I've wanted to finish
the Final Fantasy I would have recommended to you, Craig, because it's real time. But now you're playing things like you use like a dragon and stuff. It's like any Final Fantasy.
So when Craig pulls out Dragon Quest 11 in a minute on his, that's what we know.
Yeah.
But
that one was on Game Pass as well. I wanted it 15, but it's left.
It's cheap. It's always cheap. Like it's always in sale for like £7. But the nature of this being an actual backlog, I wanted a game that's actually in my backlog, not just a game from last year. So that's one that is actually in my backlog. So that is my 5. I think I've been quite ballsy yet again. Not as ballsy, but I mean, there's no Persona this year. But I mean, it almost went on. But
I did have a pickup. I did have a pickup, which was Persona, but it's not on my list.
So
I'm banning Dave from saying Persona 5 Royal on the podcast after this episode. I've decided.
So I will say Persona 5 Royal on this podcast once I've completed it. So if I complete that game, I will. There will be a whole episode of me talking about it. But
it comes to like PC Game Pass or something. Dave will be like, Persona 5 Royal is now on
Xbox.
I can get Xbox. I can get Xbox achievements playing it on
sell
PC
my physical
or something.
version. But yeah, so that's my list. Again, it's ballsy, but I can do it. I believe in myself. That's all I can do. Let's move on to Pengy.
Yeah, sure. I should have got my physical games out. I didn't really think of that at the time because all mine are. I do have. No, I don't. One of them is not physical. So my first one is the short. I'm going in like length order. It's the shortest, and that's the Pathless, which is a almost PS5 launch game. It was supposed to come out like the week or 2 weeks after the PS5, and I had it pre-ordered, and then obviously my original PS5 died, so I never got around to playing it, and everyone tells me it's such a me game. I did pick it up after I traded something in. It's just been sat on my shelf since, and I've not got to it. I've barely turned on my PS5, and it's one game there that I've got that I do want to play on the system. And, it's a game that I think I will enjoy. So that's the first one. Next one is one I'm borrowing off Craig. So it depends when he wants it back when I will play it. And that is Resident Evil Village. Again, it's not started yet because there's been other games and stuff. But yeah, hopefully get a start of that soon. I like Resident Evil games for most part. So it's a good one. And then I've got Guardians of the Galaxy on my list as well, like Dave. This is, again, it's because I traded something in. I was not expecting the trade-in value I got for it. So I picked up Guardians and Pathless, and I keep forgetting I've got Guardians because I have, the PS4 version. So, I ever go, look at my PS5 games, I've only got, Death Stranding and Pathless there. And I keep forgetting I have Guardians of the Galaxy. It was only when I was going through, my games. So I was like, oh yeah, I actually do have Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's put that on there because everyone says that's a pretty good game. I'll think I've done the first chapter, the first mission or something. So I've played a little bit, but let's say an hour or 17 hours, so not much at all. Then I've gone for what haven't I finished, Dave, from the main man Kojima himself?
Every game. I don't know, Police Nauts, something like that.
No.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, Peace Walker is on my list. I've put Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker on the list. I could show you my physical PSP version. I will mostly play the 360 version through backwards compatible with all HDR and
do you own that physically?
Yeah, I own it physically on PSP, PS3, and 360. Don't own the Vita version. And I own it digitally on Vita as well, so I can play it in like 4 different ways if I want to.
God.
What if I play like 18 hours over 4 things? Does that count?
No, I'm sure you'll be doing a fresh playthrough because you won't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'll start on 360. Export Series X, but 360 version of that. So that, and then I've got a last year game as well, and it's good. I think it's going to be on this list every year until I actually get around to playing it, and that's Nier Automata, which I've left on the list due to how good Nier Replicant was last year. So I do want to, get around to playing it. I think all the first 4 are all very likely to get done. If there's one that doesn't get done, it would be Nier Automata out of these lot. But yeah, that is my 5.
Very nice.
Very sensible as well, Chris.
Yeah.
So it's the big one. So what everyone wants to hear. It's Craig's 5 games for this year.
Okay, so I'm going to start with one which is basically going to be completely dependent on probably you two, because I would need one of you to play it with me, and that's going to be It Takes Two from last year.
It will probably be me.
There we go. Obviously, that came to Game Pass with EA Play, so definitely want to give that a go. We played A Way Out last year, me and Dave, and I loved it a lot.
It's a fun experience.
Yeah, especially I think there's a level in the hospital where it goes like 2D. That was
we had some fun with that
so silly. So I definitely want to play
100%
that.
completion as well.
I was about to say I'll commit to not just playing it but getting the 1000G on that one, because I think it's quite an easy 1000G. So we'll do that at some point. Second up, I'm going to go for one that I don't actually own, isn't on Game Pass, but it's from last year. I really want to play it, and that's going to be Lost Judgment. I thought it's kind of natural that if I was going to have Yakuza Like a Dragon, so I replaced it with just another Yakuza game. So I thought Lost just makes sense. Really enjoyed the first one. I have no idea when I will play that, but I have to buy that at some point. If it doesn't come to Game Pass,
I think it will
eventually. I mean, the first one still needs to come because they hinted at that ages ago. They put something on their Twitter about that coming, and it's still not come yet. So I'd imagine the first one will hopefully come soon, and then this will maybe come towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, first one comes February, like 6 months later, the next one or something.
Yeah.
I guess we got all year, so if it hasn't come by December or something, you're like, all right.
I mean, listen, it's not massively expensive already, to be honest, so...
No, the first one wasn't when I bought it for last year. It was quite cheap. Third up, I've gone for one that's just come to Game Pass. Came out last year, reviewed really well, but I didn't buy it because it wasn't on Game Pass. That's Death's Door. Partly I didn't buy this because I didn't know if it'd be my sort of thing, because it looks quite difficult. Almost looks a little bit Soulsy or something like that.
Very Soulsy.
It's Souls meets Zelda, but like... Yeah.
But it being on Game Pass... makes me actually want to play this a lot more. And putting it on this list will encourage me to at least give it a go. Even if I hate it, I don't end up abandoning it, but I wanted to kind of commit to that a little bit. Fourth for me, I've gone for Prey, also on Game Pass. As I really want the Arcane game on there, because I've only ever played one Arcane game and I really enjoyed it, and for some reason I just never played any of the others. I was going to go for Dishonored 2, but I don't. Prey just seems a bit more appealing to me. I've heard a lot of people like Jez from Xbox 2 podcast talk really highly about that game. So that's one I really want to play. And then last up is one that's came out this year. I was going to play it as soon as it came out, but Yakuza is just endless. And don't want to play anything else of the Yakuza at the moment, and that's Nobody Saves the World.
Nice.
Which I think is a solid 15 hours from the reviews. So yeah, I definitely want to get to that as well.
Very nice. Well, I think yours is the most doable. The most likely to happen is Craig.
Yeah, I think the only ones out of those, Lost Judgment, if it doesn't come to Game Pass, like say you could buy it in like December or something, and maybe Death's Door if it's not something you like, but the others definitely Ray, doable.
I think Death's Door is probably the shortest out of them, but it might be the one that doesn't get done, which is quite funny. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's the hardest, I think. But but yeah, we will come up with forfeits. I think. Yeah, again, I've put myself in a corner, but I trust myself to do it. I believe in myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice. That's our 5 games. So that is, I think, the last sort of weird wrap-up planning episode we have. So next week, like I said, will be a normal discussion episode, probably about Xbox and the future of it, I would imagine. But yeah, any closing thoughts before you go, guys? Any games you think you're going to start now? Because I think I might start Cyberpunk this week. That might be the one to start with. Pengy?
I don't know, because like I said, I'm so close to finishing Shin Megami Tensei 5, and then Pokemon Legends is out Friday, so I'll be on that. Once I've done those 2, then there's quite a long a spell of not a lot into Horizon Forbidden West, which I think is the 18th of February, so it's so maybe something in the start of that. Maybe I'll turn the PS5 on and Pathless and Guardian to get done or something. Because once I turn it on and start something on there, I'll play a few other things.
Love it.
The floodgates do open for you, don't they, Chris? Because obviously you're not buying a game. Challenge ends in 5 or 6 days.
Well, I bought Persona 3 Portable.
And he's going to buy Pokemon on Friday.
No, I'm getting it for my birthday. I'm getting Uncharted from my uncle and Pokemon from my dad. So yeah.
We'll see if progress does halt on that backlog, because I'd imagine you're going to go mental those first few days of being able to buy games again. So we'll see.
Yeah, like I said, this unless it's retro, that's one of the challenges. Definitely sort of February. I've put the list up on GNamer. There's quite a few interesting looking games, but the only one I'm getting is Horizon Forbidden West sort of thing, stuff coming to Game Pass. There's these 5 backlog games, etc. Grid Legends looks decent, but we know it's an EA game, so we know it's going to be on EA Play at some point. We know me and Souls games don't go hand in hand, so Elden Ring is I'm not going to spend 50 quid on that right away. Let's wait until it's down to 20 or something if I'm going to risk it.
I love the lunacy of Chris Mengele that he's learned his lesson, but he still has to buy it. He still can't not. His hand's just shaking Well,
I've still got 10 months before I can buy a game that isn't a present. So I've got my birthday coming up soon in March, and then it's nothing. It'd be nothing for.
But March is when I might go a bit loony.
Yeah.
All those Switch exclusives.
To be honest with you, there's nothing I really want. Whenever I look, I'm I wouldn't mind playing a Horizon, but I'm not desperate. Same with Gran Turismo. Same with Pokemon. There's nothing. Game Pass and my backlog should be more than enough, to be honest. I still haven't finished Halo. I've only played the first level. That could have gone on here. But yeah. Right, well, my connection's starting to die because those 2 have now frozen. So let's end the podcast because I'm completely unfrozen. Thank you for watching the show. If you want to catch us on the socials, you can catch Chris at Massive Dash. You can catch Craig in the streets, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.